Okay.
We are live.
We are live. Hello out there in Patreon land. How are you doing? It's a Sunday night. Usually it's the time reserved for D&D, so I think it's fitting that we're going to hang out here. Jim, how you doing, man?
I'm a little tired. It's been kind of a crazy few days for me personally.
Yeah, you've had a few
life.
things. Yeah, you've had a few things come up in the D&D world here recently, haven't you?
Yes, I was on Nerdarchy on Friday, and we just kind of hung out. It's fun to hang
Uh-huh.
out with Dave and Ted. They're true gamers,
Oh
and
yeah.
and they're authentic in a way that I really like. And
They're
so
just
it's
good
fun.
people also.
Just good people. And we talked about everything from which of our favorite Dungeons and Dragons novels, is out there to just BS,
Yeah.
just like whatever.
Yeah, I
Ted
caught
showed
most
off
of
his
it.
Lego collection at one point.
Whoa, just you just don't whip your Legos out with anybody.
Yeah. So we had a good time then, and then I got last minute on call for the Twitch D&D Twitch stream last night. It was on Learn by Play with Will Jones. I got to play in their sort of penultimate episode. The doddering old wizard is who I play. And I died suitably well on that to a power word kill, which was always fun. And when someone's like, "Hey, do you want to be on the official D&D Twitch stream?" You're like, "Is that a question?" Of course I do. Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring the shit.
Hey man, I had a lot of fun on there. I was pissed that I died in my sleep though, in a dream. I wanted to go out swinging. At least you died from a spell.
Hey, we had like three-ish fights.
Yeah, I caught the first two. I watched most of the stream. It was pretty great.
So it was a fun time. And then of course today we had the D in December roundtable that was hosted by the Walking Virus, and had Savrik and Chaotic Anarchy and Nizul, all from Twitter. It was a great time. We talked about everything from like what our favorite D&D moments are to like how to handle those really awkward moments that undoubtedly arise, and took some questions from the chat. I think that's going to be hosted on Walking Virus's YouTube channel. If anybody didn't catch that, you'll be able to head over to Walking Virus. They're all great people. You should support them and watch their stuff and hang out in their spaces, because one of the things that I love about this D&D life, right, like just the whole online community of it, is that it's so just so welcoming and so upbeat, and it's a stark difference from the forum culture that I'm used to, which is just relentless negativity. Just, this sucks, it's bullshit and broken. It's nice to be around people who love D&D, who are like supportive of each other's work, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
But it's fucking crazy busy.
So what was one of your favorite D&D moments you talked about?
I talked about my original D&D campaign idea, but one of them I didn't get to talk about because we were only going to have one each, was the Aboleth fight from Spelljammer. And just the fact that there was like 30 to a side. Our players had their like 20 commandos that we brought with us, and there was the fight in the makeshift village, and all the different parts to that, and then dealing with the machine that was summoned, and then the Aboleth showed up, and it was just like one of the moments of 5th edition that was just that was really, really good.
Yeah, that was a headache to run.
I bet.
It was pretty annoying. Well, that's awesome. You did that rockin' D&D roundtable. You also you got some non D&D playing coming up pretty soon, don't you?
I do. I'm taking Travis's place for 1 week only on Nerdarchy's Face Rip Marvel game. Yeah, just the one time. Nothing's happening to broadcast. Travis is going to be back next week, but they need that spot to fill. And I was like, you guys make me a character, I'll play it.
Kill him. Kill his character.
Yes. I requested a speedster or a bruiser. But who knows what I'll get, and it'll be a great time hanging out with the Nerdarchy crew. And so yeah, so that's where I'm at. We December's a busy month. We've got a lot coming up for January, and we wanted to just like bring you guys in on how things have been going. Of course, Patreon's been out for a couple of months now, and we just wanted to connect with everybody. Usually we do a hangout for the Immortal tier, but we're like, this month let's try to get as many people in as we can, update everybody, let you guys know sort of what the state of web DM is.
Yeah.
And then make a couple of announcements for you guys.
Yeah, because you were on Nerdarchy on the his live chat on Friday. I'm probably going to be on there sometime before the end of December. We're still trying to nail down the day, but yeah, that will happen sometime in the next couple weeks. So we will be letting everyone know when that does happen.
Yeah, we like to support that channel, and they're good partners to be involved with, and they're getting the most of WebDM by splitting us up like that. They've split the party.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they have. Well, I mean, they lured us in by. I mean, we were on there together.
Right.
And now they've hit you. Now they're going to hit me with the same questions and see if our answers are different to see if we're really full of shit.
Right.
Yeah. To see if we're full of shit as WebDM influencers or D&D influencers or whatever. They're going to finally catch us. It's all scripted.
It's all scripted.
Just been passing deception checks for like 3 years now. But yeah, and like you said, we just want to check in. We also just want to say hi to our and what's up to our new Patreon supporters. All this extra content wouldn't be possible without y'all's support, without y'all's help. So we do love that we are able to get out there more and provide more with the podcast and the videos Trav's doing on Monday. Gives him some extra footage to work with, and our shoot's coming up. We're gonna have to rent some equipment, and that's gonna help with that.
Yeah. I think you're right. Like I one of the things that I like about Patreon is the way that it does bring people sort of closer together, and the love that you guys are showing us in terms of your support every month is allowing us to do these other things, get the equipment we need, go to the places we want to go to. And we want to share as much of that as possible with you. So that's why.
Yeah. And I mean, and also having a hell of a lot of fun with our Discord, with our Immortal level members.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had a mic issue. My mic went limp.
That's why you got duct tape for that.
Yes, got duct tape. Yeah. So
the gotta get on that,
something. The Discord is something for our Immortal tier.
I caught it in the replay on YouTube. It's great.
Nice.
Anyway. But yeah, we're having a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, today, hell, I would have watched your roundtable. I wanted to catch the archive because we got a member in there, Reign of the Forest, or I can't remember if I'm doing that handle exactly right. But he's starting up a fucking Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader game, and we had our session 0 today. And oh my god,
nice.
Yeah, the Discord is awesome. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and there's a really cool community developing with all the Immortals, and on the Discord I've been putting in music I listen to while I cut, and behind the scenes photos and live clips, and I put when we did the podcast, which we'll talk about, we did like a live thing really quick that shared with the Immortals. So there's like an even cooler like inner ring sort of developing. I'm having a lot of fun showing it to people, in addition to going 3 times a week on the Patreon. So there's a really cool thing going on.
Yeah, so we really appreciate the opportunity you guys have given us for that. We do have, for those of you who are at the expert and immortal levels, we've got a really special podcast coming up next week.
Yes.
This is something that we've been talking about doing for a long time, which is sort of like a Dungeons and Dragons commentary track. Where we watch a movie. Pruitt, you've been calling it second watch.
Well, yeah, I had an idea to do a show, like a special show, and we might, we're just trying this out in the podcast to see how y'all like it. And so it might be a thing where we do this extra, and then the podcast stays the podcast, but we call it second watch. Obviously,
Right.
the D&D reference, but you're watching a movie again strictly through a D&D lens, whether it's just to see like how this movie is straight up D&D or as reference, you know, when you're playing with new people and they're like, well, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do. It's like, well, you know, in like Ocean's 11, like this is a heist, kind of like that. We need this guy to do this, you know, and so it'd be like that, like where you can look at a movie and point straight to it as a perfect reference on how a certain scenario or an encounter would play out. And so we hope that you enjoy it. We're started up with the 13th Warrior. One of my favorite. It's an amazing. I know it's at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it was panned by the critics, and it bombed at the box office. I don't give a shit.
It is the best D&D movie. It's just absolutely amazing.
The best D&D movie. It is the movie I put on when I write anything or doing anything D&D. It's just on in the background.
Yeah.
And so I really hope that y'all enjoy that. So here's the thing: you're either gonna listen to us talk about a movie out of context,
right.
kind of, and it's not really. I mean, it's more like, you know, it's pretty pretty lucid flow. I don't know, Jim.
Yeah, right. So you know how these things go. This is just a comment.
Yeah.
You know, this is the scene. It's meant to be to accompany the movie, which is on available for Hulu subscribers if you have it. You can also rent it from Amazon or YouTube, I think, for like $2.99, something like that. So it's meant to be sort of accompanied by the movie. You play the movie, turn the volume on low, listen to the podcast. Hopefully. And we hope that Pruitt and I's back and forth and just kind of talking about the ideas in the movie will still make it interesting to listen to if you can't watch the movie along with it. So if you're familiar with the movie, that's great. If not, and this is your first time watching it, then you're in for a treat. It's one of those. I kind of find it a sort of a crap movie, but it's also the best D&D movie.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with the movie.
Right.
They did some fucking they did some fucking reshoots on it, and you can. I mean, when you watch it enough, you can really tell. And half the people can't speak good English. You know, they were teaching them how to say their lines.
Right. It's a fun movie, and we had fun watching it, and we hope that you guys have fun listening to it. Please give us your feedback. The best place to give us feedback is obviously in the comments to the Patreon posts. And that goes for suggestions for show topics. I know on a couple of weeks ago, we asked you guys, hey, come out here and want some topics. We've got some good stuff. We're going to use those, try to get those topics out for you, starting in the new year. But if you ever feel like you want to suggest something or have some feedback for us, the Patreon page is the best way to go about doing that. I've seen some people kind of ask around or tweet at us, which is the best way. Patreon's going to be the best way for that.
Yeah, for now, and I see some people who are making the jump to be immortals here in the chat, but which is awesome.
Thank you very much.
Because
wow.
if you, it's awesome, and you need to make sure that you can join the Discord right away and go through the immortal posts and join the Discord, because if you do join the Discord, you can watch about an hour and 10 minutes of the live. You know, I captured about an hour plus of it because I wanted to watch it. So me and Crumpler 64, and I guess everybody else was doing stuff. So me and Crumpler 64 sat while I set up my laptop and watched about an hour and a half of Pruitt and Jim talking about the 13th Warrior. And then I had to go, and they're recording separately on their own end. So the podcast itself will be complete. It's the whole movie and the whole shooting match. So what you're going to see on Discord right now is only like the middle hour and 15 minutes. But it's a great sampling of like, you know, because Pruitt moved. I'm not done. Pruitt moved his gear over to the couch of his apartment in the living room of his apartment, and he's got his feet up. And let me tell you, I've lived with this guy, you know, many times. I've known this guy for a long time. It's as close as you're going to get to sitting on the couch watching a movie with Pruitt. The 13th Warrior is a great movie to do that with, because it's not the first time I've sat down and watched 13th Warrior with Pruitt. In fact, we did it the night before you guys recorded the podcast. Pruitt came over, and we had Snickerpoodle cookies. And we attempted a chicken dish in the crock pot that I don't want to talk about, and we watched the 13th Warrior, had a marvelous time, and Pruitt got warmed up for the podcast, and so It was just super fun, and it was great to watch you guys talk about the movie. It's funny as hell, and I love this second watch concept, and I love that the movie's it's on Hulu and it's only $3 on YouTube, so you can totally watch it and it's totally worth it. It's everything that the second D&D movie, the official D&D movie, whatever of the dragon, whatever.
Direct to video one?
Yeah,
No, you're
which
talking
I
about
actually
Wrath
like.
of the Dragon, Wrath of the Dragon Queen, or whatever it is. No,
Whatever it is.
The second one is low budget AF.
Yeah.
But the spirit of what they're doing is it's in the right place. They're trying. It's just really it's low budget as fuck.
See, I insist that it be on second watch in its first era, because the second D&D movie, I remember buying it at Walmart and watching it. I think I was there when Pruitt watched it. I don't know. I remember anyway. So I think that's a really good one. And all I have to say in closing is Friday's podcast is going to be a doozy, because it's awesome.
Yeah. Yes. So there we go. So one of the reasons that we wanted to gather as many of y'all here as possible is to make the sort of formal announcement that we are going to be at PAX South.
What?
Yes, we are. It's San Antonio, January 12th through the 14th. 3-day badges are no longer available, but there are still single-day badges available if you haven't picked one up, or you're in the area. So anybody who's in South Central United States and wants to make it out to San Antonio, we would love to hang out, to do some gaming. Our schedule is going to be pretty packed. We're doing some collabs with some people, maybe want to do as many panels and stuff like that, and do some free gaming. But then we're also shooting during that time as well. So if you're one of our Patreon supporters and you're going to be at PAX South, let us know. Hit us up with private message over not Facebook, but Patreon. Please don't use Facebook. We never check that. I'm very sorry if you've ever messaged us over Facebook. I just don't use it. Patreon is the way to go for that. Get in touch with us. Let us know, and we'll do some coordinating and hang out a bit. What else about PAX South, gentlemen? What's anything else? Other than
I'm excited as hell. I mean, it's going to be our first big convention. So, this is when you go out and you go see the people, right, Jim Davis? I mean,
yes.
Go out to the people and see what's going on and make some connections, and hopefully we get to get some awesome big ass room gaming in. Yeah. I've been enjoying that at Vigilante, so I can't wait to move to an even bigger room, because now I think I'd be able to handle it. I think this Vigilante, this almost year of playing at Vigilante will prepare me, because I'm usually like, nope,
not handle it. But now you're veteran. That button has been calloused over, and you're like, meh.
Yeah, I've achieved that. I've unlocked that achievement, and so just wanted to answer a quick question to Alistair Gouldy. Aristides the Unblanking is the ultimate pacifist. I actually quit playing him because he killed a guy with vitriolic, whatever the bard one is.
Vicious Mockery?
Vicious Mockery, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the only attack spell I took with him, because I was like, well, he hurts people with words.
How did you get Vicious Mockery as a wizard?
Because I took fucking magic initiate, and I went bard.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And so I literally took it just so I could get that one cantrip, because the only cantrip I wanted to take is, he hurts people with words. And then I killed a guy, and that's why I quit role playing him, because I'm like, he just had a whole existential crisis. So he was he apparently brought him into his homebrew game and wanted to know how he role played him. He's like that. He's very inquisitive. But he wants to do his diviner stuff.
And cast divination spells.
Look through a telescope all day. That's what he wanted to do. Yeah. So anyway, there you go. Sorry.
All right.
I derailed that.
There you go.
But PAX South, right?
I'm excited for PAX South. So yeah, if you're going, let us know. We'll try to meet up and do whatevs. But our schedule is still sort of up in the air. We don't exactly know. We just know we're going to be busy. So let us know as soon as possible if you're going to be there, and we hope to see you.
They're gonna announce official stuff, and I guess our announcements for what we'll be doing and when will roll out pretty close to that, and I'm gonna be walking around doing some shooting. We're definitely gonna be shooting some content, and then once PAX South is over, we will retreat back to the piney confines of Austin, Texas, and shoot another round of shows.
Yes, we are shooting more shows. We, yeah, it's gonna be a big December and January, big months for WebDM. Lots going on.
Yeah, we're gonna be a lot of people gonna be on other people's podcasts. We're gonna have some guests on our podcast.
Yeah, so doing some more guests. They're gonna be on, and we're bringing on some people either to talk about specific styles of games, people that we're curious to talk to, and we hope that our conversations are continue to be interesting and inspirational for you guys. And then we're also going to be on some other stuff. Tabletop Terrors is doing a series we're going to be on in January. We'll be sure to get you guys all that information as soon as we know it, so you guys can stay up to date. I think lastly, we kind of wanted to talk about the drama with Patreon.
Yeah, what everybody's talking about, and what probably everybody out there is like, are they going to get to it? Are they?
Yeah. Personally, I'm of two minds of something like this. This reminds me very much of when Netflix was going to split into two separate things and charge you separately to stream videos and to get movies delivered to you, and then that blew over. There's something about it in me that's curious whether they'll actually go through with this. We understand if the shifting of the credit card fees from our end to your end, from the creator's end to the supporter's end, proves to be too much. No hard feelings there. You do what you got to do. If you're unfamiliar with this, you should have gotten an email from Patreon over the last week, kind of explaining everything. So check your emails if you want the full details of it. We don't have any plans to change our pricing structure yet. We're in kind of a wait and see mode, and if things go south really quickly and it just becomes unbearable, we'll keep you guys updated. But for now, we're like, yeah, I wish they would have asked somebody. I wish they would have asked. We'd have happily continued paying for those charges instead of foisting it on you guys. But right now, we don't have any major plans to change the way we're doing things.
It's one of those things where, the people I'm into, the things that I follow, the things that I spend money on online, if I find out where someone's doing something exciting, I want to be there. And it's really easy to do that with WebDM right now. We're sort of firing all our guns at our Patreon. We've got what we're doing on social. We've got the Wednesday show, which will always be its own big old deal. And then we've got what we're doing on Patreon, and then I keep the Discord right here in the top right corner. And so it's kind of become stitched into my production life and just our lives as creators and as part of what WebDM is now. It's just not just 25, 30 minutes every Wednesday. It's its own thing where you can see Pruitt's cat if you want to. Sure. There's his cat, Monk. Hi, Monk.
Monk, he's a special boy.
Officer Monklin.
Officer Bill Monklin of Monkford. Representative Monkford of the 12th district. I'm allergic to Monk, and yet I lived with him for many years.
Yeah, that's how fucking cool this cat is.
That's how cool.
Someone who's allergic to them just hung around because he's worth hanging out.
Monk chewed my Super Nintendo cord. That's the value you get by being
and Monk is still alive.
Yeah, Monk's still alive. That's a special tier. The tier where you get to be Pruitt's roommate is a special. It takes a while for that. We have some really legal issues that we have to iron out first.
That's right. It's just really cool, and it's.
I have to come off of parole also.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm putting a selfie on the Discord right now of my desk and doing this podcast. It's just a really cool opportunity, and like we've got people talking. You guys are starting a game in the. Talk about that for a second if you haven't already. Is the game that you guys have struck up in the Discord,
and also in our Immortal level Discords. Jim, maybe you can remind me of who's actually starting the Numenera game for newbies.
I'm not sure exactly. I'll always forget. We're doing a lot of stuff, and if you want to make to get up there, 200 Mortal Pledge. Obviously, this is available for you. We hope that those of you who are pledged at the basic and expert are still satisfied. We want to make sure that everybody feels like that they're getting something with their Patreon support.
Absolutely, and I'm really glad you brought that up.
It's not just about making sure we've got the money to rent equipment or something, but that they get something enjoyable out of it, and we enjoy making these things. This is what all of three of us would prefer to be doing with every ounce of our time that we have available. So
absolutely. And the $2 get the Monday, Monday and Wednesday. That's for everybody. You throw in $2, and there's people who are throwing in like $1, right? And like they need to get up like $2. There's something cool to watch on Mondays and something cool to listen to on Wednesdays, and then for the experts, there's a really cool thing happening in the podcast. And I'd say that now with Second Watch happening, it's time for that and the podcast to kind of be their own animals, and that means that the podcast itself needs to continue to develop as its own animal, and we'll enter a new age of that, and so there is something going on for all levels here on the Patreon.
So we have a couple of questions that have been asked, and I think I've got time for like 15-20 minutes of questions. So I know that we've seen from Crumpler 64, would you guys be open to a Funhouse Dungeon one shot while at PAX South? Crumpler, are you talking about running one, or you want us to run a Funhouse Dungeon for you? It'll take some time because of the delay.
Think about what you want.
Think about what you want. I'm down for either. If you want to run a game for us, that's going to be easier for us. My mind is going to be on filming and attending the convention, and I just don't think that any game I could potentially run in that time would be a very good one, and I will not deliver a subpar gaming experience to my Patreon supporters. Hell no. So I'd be happy to play in something that you guys run. Pruitt, what are your thoughts?
He's gone.
Oh, Pruitt. I didn't see. I was looking at another tab.
I think that's pretty awesome.
I'll speak for Pruitt. He's fine with it.
I think, he's fine with it. I'm sure he's fine with it. PAX, I've never done, you and I were talking about this, I've never done like a straight up gaming convention.
Now, I've always done a comic convention where gaming was an afterthought.
Right.
Myself.
And so it's gonna be something, and then I'm gonna put, wait, this isn't right. No, I put the wrong picture in Discord. It's one of those things where I'm just gonna put microphones on the both of you, and who knows what the hell is going to happen?
Who knows what's
going to run around like crazy people?
Yeah. And sorry, I was gone. I would totally play in a Funhouse Dungeon if time permitting.
Time permitting. And I hope that there will be time for that. And then I know Andrew, Don Forgecast. Thank you, sir. We saw you there in the chat. You had a question for us that I am curious to answer, or eager to answer. It says, you guys are approaching that awkward in between of being loaded up with so many offline tabletop events and opportunities and generating some real income from this, but also still having offline jobs and concerns there. Yes, very true. Be able to make the full-time transition anytime soon. Is there any interest in that as well? There is interest in that for me. I would love to be able to do this full-time. I don't see doing this full-time without there being published material that we sell, whether that's adventures, Dungeon Master's aids, things like the stuff that I personally am backing on Kickstarters, things like Masters and Minions, where it's sort of, here's a book or a collection of stuff you can drag and drop into your campaign. I don't have any plans to publish any of my campaign settings. I honestly would feel like that's sort of a vanity project. But who knows, there might even be some stuff that's inspired by Razzle Sin or the other games that we've run online. Might be that. So I'm interested in full-time, doing this full-time, and the transition is going to be very weird, I think. I would prefer to not have to worry about my muggle jobs and just focus entirely on role playing.
Yeah, I am tired of dealing drugs. It's got me about as far as it can go. So
are you gonna quit the life?
I'm gonna quit the life, man.
You're gonna give all this up?
I'm gonna give. I would love to.
Big screen TV. You can smoke a pound of weed every day. No, that's not what happens.
That's not what happens at all.
And by the way, that album is amazing, but not in 2017. I shouldn't quote it.
Sure.
Anyway, so what were we talking about? Oh yeah, whether we're gonna do this for a living.
Yeah, I would love to.
I don't do WebDM for a living, but you know, it's all folded up into what my daytime job is, which is making video content and doing this. I want to explore ways to make money. Like, I'm so glad Jim wants to publish something, because I see that as the future of this too. And I think that there's a lot of different ways to make money online. I think you see a lot of people in the community doing different things to make money online. I've got an approach in my head, and I think the three of us are constantly exploring like how to do it. I would love to do Left Nerd and Right Nerd shirts. I would love to do WebDM
shirts and merch and all that shit. I will say this about publishing real quick. Anything that we potentially publish will need playtesters, and our Patreon supporters will be the pool that we go to for that. Yeah. So that I don't see any reason why that can't be at all pledge levels. And so that's something that, no promises. This is sort of like we're letting you guys in on kind of our aspirations for 2018 and beyond. But if we do, and there's playtesting needed, we will turn to our Patreon supporters first for that pool. And so that's something to keep in mind going forward.
You know, we've talked about Kickstarter. We've talked about a lot of different ways to do something. I would love to have a successful Kickstarter. I would love to mobilize the Patreon patrons as kind of a street team to get the word out about a Kickstarter, to really share posts and to really mobilize to get what we would do on Kickstarter or something to be the best it can be. I feel the same way when we start talking about shirts and merch and stuff like that. I just have a thing where if we were going to do Cafe Press, we'd have done it by now, or something like that. And if we're going to do a shirt, I'd actually like to go kind of crazy on it and choose the material and choose the cut and have kind of have more of a certain approach to how it's done. And I've looked at a lot of different ways of doing it, and I would love to do it in 2018. And yeah.
And we do need Left Nerd, Right Nerd shirts. I love the idea of having the silhouette of Trav in the background.
That's a good one.
With backstage nerd.
I want a WebDM logo tee, and then I want like another style that's two different styles, Left Nerd and Right Nerd, that has the Adam. I would love to have the Adam Miller art on it.
That'd be great. Any other questions or anything? I haven't really been keeping an eye on the chat.
Jim has to go, people. You got to ask your questions now.
Yeah, if you have a question,
get them in. Would you guys? You did the Funhouse thing and you did the live thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Piano Jester wants to know: will we be publishing paper copies or PDF stuff through DM's Guild or whatnot? I know we've discussed this.
I'm not ready to say.
I don't know that we can answer that quite yet.
Secret.
So ignore my answer where it says probably PDFs.
No, ignore Pruitt. He doesn't know. I'd say it's top secret classified.
Yeah. So don't listen to me.
Gotta work on our spy game here.
I mean, I all we'll say is this: undoubtedly, anything we publish will probably be made available in a PDF somewhere. Whether it's also made available in a book and where you can get that PDF, those details are unknown. But there will be a PDF, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I feel
more than likely, no matter what, there we.
Somewhere, no, it's going to be parchment. Each one's going to be hand illuminated. If there are artisans, we'll sell them through Etsy.
No, I'm going to chisel them with a small.
Right. You can expect the first one out in 2030 something.
Oh, Jim, we've got to do a Call of Cthulhu episode in January.
That would be great. I would love to do a Call of Cthulhu episode where we can just talk about that.
Since I'm having fun with that on Wednesdays now at noon with Encounter Roleplay. Jim, we got to play some Call of Cthulhu at some point.
I would love to play Call of Cthulhu at some point. I would great. I have about half of masks converted to 40K in rough notes, which I'd love to play with that as well.
Oh my
Anyway,
God.
How long till Immortal patrons get their own sessions with you guys?
It's going to be at the earliest February for me. I wish I could say it's going to be sooner, and I wish I could give you a bit more definitive answer than that. But for me, February is the earliest I'm going to be able to actually throw some dice with you guys.
We have talked about doing that though in different ways.
In much different ways. I mean, and I don't want this update to basically be, hey, we've got a shit ton to talk about for the Immortals, and everybody else has got nothing. But
Sure.
Immortals, keep an eye out for those updates, and we will get those to you. We have some information to pass along to you in regards to that. But I would say for that, February is going to be the earliest for me. It's kind of nuts.
All right. Well, good times.
Cool.
Well, I'm going to hand it over to these guys, but I want the Patreon patrons to know how much what an amazing experience these last few months have been putting together what this is week to week and doing the podcast, and it's letting and then I'll shut up. What it's doing is it's giving Jim and Pruitt crucial time together to continue to build their rapport and learn how to talk to each other and hone their craft, and it's making the Wednesday shows. I don't know if you've noticed this last batch of Wednesday shows, they are on fire. These have been great shows these last few weeks. Halflings went over really well. We've had some great Wednesdays, and how awesome these new shows are a direct result of this Patreon and all of you supporting us and watching the podcast and giving us another platform to continue to develop what WebDM does. And I really appreciate it. And back to you, Pruitt.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to piggyback on that. We love y'all. You make so much available to us that normally wouldn't be there. We just because we just want to give more back, and we want to be able to have the time to give more back, and that's what this Patreon allows us to do. Is to give us a chance to give you more, and so. You know, I love you and can't wait to see you, you people at PAX South that we're going to see there. Hope we can roll some dice together, and I hope those dice roll in your favor.
Calendar of WebDM thumbnails, guys.
Oh my God!
That's like I was
Why
about
aren't
to click.
we doing that?
That's from the chat.
Why aren't we doing that?
I can't even stop the show because that's such a good idea. I can't even stand it. I could pick 12 of my favorite thumbnails, and the holiday one can be December.
Oh my God! We got to get on that.
I expect my royalties check. Hey, seriously, PPAT9192, you need to PM us on Patreon.
Yeah.
So we can give you a shout out when we do that. All right. Peace out.
We love you.
We love you, WebDM land.
Later on, guys.